What is going on, everybody? It's the Fountain, and we are back again for a Smackdown live review for March 15th, 2018. We just got done with the fallout of Fastlane. Shane McMahon was to make a WrestleMania announcement tonight, as well as Asuka's debut was also to happen tonight, which both had happened. Gonna get those video clips as soon as I can. AJ Styles would start the show, and he would hype up his match at WrestleMania. We had another highlight tease for the Fabulous Moolah in Battle Royal, which all three brands are going to be eligible. And trust me, I didn't realize this last night, but this has a lot of negative feedback for WWE because in no short terms, the Fabulous Moolah was a total cunt bitch who has no right to have anything good put to her name. She was a pimp. She caused people to be raped. She stole from people. She didn't trailblaze any fucking thing. Her 20-some year title reign was just her holding the title hostage. This bitch has no right to be named for anything. I don't care if she was a different woman in the Attitude Era when her and Mae Young were sitting there making buffoons out of themselves for the general public to see, which I just got done watching that stuff over the last few months. And I'm telling you right now, if anybody found that shit enjoyable, you must be a belligerent idiot, because that entire all those segments with her in the Attitude Era, with her and Mae Young, were just disgusting. They were disgusting. They said they were the part of the negative of the Attitude Era, Moolah, Mae Young, and of course the Stooges, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I will have some talk on Unscripted about this and get that all out there, because there is a lot of negative feedback, and a trainee of the Fabulous Moolah has come out against this match, and it has been all over Twitter. And if I can, I'll get some of those tweets copied and sent and just read them off for what people feel about the Fabulous Moolah. Yes, of course, Corey Graves, they showed a picture of tweets from the WWE women's superstars tonight. Some of them from NXT Raw and Smackdown, saying how this is such a great thing. She deserves this. No, motherfuckers. Everybody and their mother knows that WWE told these women to tweet this shit out. Anybody with a fucking brain knows that the Fabulous Moolah was not fabulous. And you had Carmella scripted tonight to say she is the modern day Moolah. Are you kidding me? Anybody wanting to call themselves the modern day Moolah is looking to have their career end like that. Because if you want to be the modern day Moolah, then you might as well just go get a cat and cane and start calling yourself a pimp, because that's all the Fabulous Moolah was. She was an awful, awful person. And for anybody to be happy that this woman is getting this prestigious honor. Andre the Giant, on the other hand, this guy, I have never heard or read anything bad about Andre the Giant. I heard he was just a gentle soul. Yes, people making fun of him and all that stuff, as they talk about in that new documentary that they like to preview. Yes, he probably had moments of being not being left alone, and he wanted people to get away from him. But other than that, I've never heard anything bad about Andre the Giant. He deserved to have a statue, and he deserved to have a battle royal. He deserved to have a memorial cup like Dusty Rhodes if they wanted to. If they wanted to do like some kind of like tournament every year called the Andre the Giant Tournament, I would have been fine with that. But the Fabulous Moolah, no. Somebody posted on Twitter to me as I was talking about this, saying that Miss Elizabeth or Sherry Martel, the Sensational Sherry, or I can't remember who the third one was, but those would have been better ideas. I don't even think Mae Young, who has the Mae Young Classic, would have been a good idea. But the Fabulous Moolah being pretty much them, this is just a revisionist history. WWE wants to like point a light on the good, which there's really no good for the Fabulous Moolah. Other than the only thing that was probably good about the Fabulous Moolah was her win of the women's title at 7 years old, which was just stupid. It was stupid, the fact that they did that. But there's not much you can say. There are people putting out petitions to have them change the name. It doesn't matter. If you really want WWE to do something, you need to go to events. You need to go to the front office. I don't care. And just pretty much cause a riot. When this match happens at WrestleMania, everybody in the New Orleans Mercedes-Benz Superdome, I want you all to turn your back be quiet, don't say a word, turn your back to the action, and don't watch it. Turn around and don't give them the ample opportunity to show appreciation to this woman. If you sit there on your hands, like, you can just sit there if you want to too and do absolutely nothing. Be quiet, don't say a word, don't cheer, don't boo, don't chant, don't show signs, just be quiet. That'll be the biggest, what the hell are we doing? Why are these fans, that will hurt them the most. Of course, a lot of people saying cancel the WWE Network, go join Honor Club. Well, that's people who just want you to join Ring of Honor, and the people out there who will. That's not going to do anything. There are parts of WrestleMania, and it's just 3 matches for me right now that are really going to be worth it. That, of course, is the Intercontinental title, the WWE Championship, and the Women's Championship for Smackdown. Other than that, the rest of WrestleMania right now is going to suck. But we will get into that in a minute. I will have more on this and more thoughts on this when we get to on Saturday for Unscripted, so make sure to check that out, because I will have we're going to start with this entire Mae Young Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, which, again, nobody should be proud of being in. And anybody who's like, oh, well, they want to show their appreciation to somebody who trailblazed. She didn't trailblaze a damn thing. If it wasn't for the Fabulous Moolah, the women's revolution would have been in the 80s or 90s, not the 2015s and stuff. But we'll leave that for Saturday. We are going to start this thing off with AJ Styles coming out. And I will say something. Vince McMahon has been trying forever to get Roman Reigns over. The chance of AJ Styles and Nakamura too, and the ovation that these two get, I will say Vince McMahon wishes Roman Reigns had even a fraction of the fan support as AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura do. Quite honestly, Vince, you probably sitting there tearing what little hair you have left out when 2 indie darlings, as you like to call them, get a better and bigger reaction than your boy, which you don't want to sit there. You want to sit there and say Brock Lesnar is your boy, which you're not. He's not, but Roman is. Gets nothing compared to these two. Here's AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura come face to face ahead of WrestleMania.
I'm going to WrestleMania.
Yes, you are. And the most anticipated match in WrestleMania. The most anticipated rematch in wrestling for WrestleMania in a long time. The biggest match in WrestleMania, in my opinion, since, well, that was booked ahead of time. I'm not talking about just like thrown together last minute to appease the fans. I'm talking about WrestleMania 21, when John Cena and Batista took and became the next big stars. When it was Triple H versus Batista, John Cena versus JBL, those 2 matches right there were WrestleMania 21. Yes, you had Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, I believe. Yeah, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, I believe. And you had the return of Hulk Hogan. None of that mattered. It was John Cena versus JBL when John Cena was loved by everybody, and Batista versus Triple H when those 2 became the big stars of the Ruthless Aggression era.
Well, let me admit, I hadn't forgot where I came from, because it wasn't long ago where the rumblings of AJ Styles actually coming to WWE are pretty unbelievable.
I, for one, because I've been watching AJ Styles since 2004, 2005 in Impact TNA, Impact Wrestling, I knew from then that this guy should have been in the WWE then. I never thought this guy would leave TNA. I thought this guy was going to be a TNA lifer. He was going to go down with the ship when TNA looked like it was about to die. It still looks like it's going to die eventually. Maybe not with Don Callis and Scott D'Amore in the building. But when this guy was younger and was at his apex, which he still is, but not as much as he was before, I was like, this dude should be headlining WrestleManias. But he's here now, and I thought it would never happen.
The fact that AJ Styles was WWE champion was unbelievable.
Especially when he first came to WWE, and the talk of it was Vince McMahon thought that the Royal Rumble reaction from 2016 was a fluke. And that the fact that there's talk that he was supposed to be squashed at WrestleMania and he was just going to be a mid-carder. But the fans did not let that happen. one time in so long that Vince McMahon actually listens to the fans, and AJ Styles went from being a mid-carder for life in WWE to two-time U.S. champion and two-time WWE champion and taking the title into WrestleMania, which I thought was never going to happen.
And then the fact that AJ Styles is now going to WrestleMania as the WWE champion. Yeah.
Never thought it would happen. Not in my lifetime.
Unbelievable, not impossible. And now we're 4 weeks out for New Orleans on April 8th, and the man that will be standing across from me is probably the biggest Japanese superstars in WWE history.
On the men's side.
Nakamura.
And as of this moment, Smackdown will have the biggest Japanese dude and the biggest Japanese woman to come into WWE, with Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka being on the same brand, which apparently she's not on SmackDown until after the WrestleMania match is over, because she came out tonight and they said she was a special guest, which makes absolutely no sense.
This is a dream match. We wanted it. I want to give it to you. I have the utmost respect for Shinsuke Nakamura because we have similar paths getting here to the WWE. But when it comes to this WWE Championship, those comparisons stop, Shinsuke. Hey, listen, I'm no different than you. I'm just like the WWE Universe. In fact, if you want to call me the everyman, I'm okay with that. That's until I step in this ring.
Those words right there is another reason why fans love AJ Styles and can never get behind Roman Reigns. He just said it himself. Outside of the ring, AJ Styles is just like each and every one of us. He's just an everyday man. He's just a normal, everyday human being. And when he gets in the ring, he is the best at what they do. Roman Reigns, on the other hand, is a manufactured carbon copy of John Cena, who is a carbon copy of The Rock. So, WWE still hasn't figured this out, why people love AJ Styles and why they loathe Roman Reigns. Him saying this right there just proves another point of why people love AJ Styles and can never, and probably will never, get behind Roman Reigns.
When I step through these ropes and I stand right here in front of you guys, I am phenomenal.
Yes, you are.
I
Nakamura comes out.
respect you.
I just love the fact that this is just eating Vince McMahon up inside so much that they cut out when Nakamura comes into the ring, the Nakamura chant starts and it gets pretty big. AJ Styles comes in the ring before that, and you get a huge AJ Styles chant before he can even say anything. It's funny that they decided to cut both of those out, simply because they don't want Vince McMahon doesn't want the fans to realize, and who don't watch SmackDown, the casuals who don't watch SmackDown or Raw on a daily basis like I do and like others who do this, he doesn't want the fans who just watch YouTube for information on what's going on to hear AJ Styles get that huge pop or Nakamura get that huge pop. Yet when we see a Roman Reigns video, you see filtered in cheers, filtered in pops for Roman Reigns. Nothing natural. Roman Reigns has got to be the fakest thing ever on WWE at this time. These two are over big time. Roman Reigns will not be, has not, and will not ever be.
At WrestleMania, dream is coming true. My dream need to face. And I will become champion.
Then, of course, Rusev comes out, and I didn't know this until they actually did it, but Rusev and AJ Styles had a match. And I was like, okay, that's news to me. But it was a pretty good match, competitive match between these two. Rusev, of course, pretty much he did control most of the match, showing that he can hang with AJ Styles. They had a pretty good match. They lock up and Rusev shoves AJ down. Rusev wants AJ out of the corner because he just shoves him down. AJ gets in the corner. And unlike a heel would usually do, he backs up and is like, get out, come on, I want to face you out here, instead of actually going on the attack. So even though they want to make Rusev and Aiden English be big heels, Rusev shows some face tendencies, so hopefully they will actually bring these guys to be baby faces. AJ tries to grip Rusev around the waist, but Rusev just tosses him off. Kicks to Rusev's leg as AJ tries to wear them out. Headlock to Rusev now, but Rusev lays AJ out for a second. Dueling chants for these two. Rusev Day, AJ Styles, Rusev Day, AJ Styles, the good old. Rusev Day is still over, even with these losses. WWE can try to kill Rusev as much as they can, but giving him competitive matches against AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura is not going to kill people's love for Rusev Day. Rusev hits some stiff shots on AJ. AJ sidesteps Rusev in the corner, and AJ battles back, but Rusev stops him and hits him with a clothesline. Drop kick by AJ drops Rusev for a second. Styles sends Rusev to the outside with a nice little clothesline, and then of course the forearm over the top rope to Rusev on the outside. AJ kicks to Rusev. AJ goes for a suplex, but Rusev reverses that. He goes to suplex Rusev, AJ, but AJ goes reverses that mid through. He goes over him, spinebuster to AJ from Rusev for a 2 count as they go to break. We come back as Rusev is in control, and they show that we saw that Rusev hit a back body drop to AJ during the break. AJ on the top gets put on the top rope, and he gets hit with a stiff shot so hard that he almost forgets to grab on to keep hold of the top rope, that he almost falls off and out to the outside of the ring. Pretty bad looking shot. Rusev goes for the suplex off the turnbuckles, but AJ slithers out and drops Rusev face first onto the turnbuckle. AJ with his combos of punches and elbows and everything, then him running forearm to down Rusev. AJ goes for his Death Valley driver neckbreaker twice, but Rusev gets out and kicks AJ in the head for a 2 count. Of course, when that kick hits, that spin kick that he hits, Corey Graves is like, AJ is out, we're going to have a winner. Which, of course, everyone, they were talking about on commentary that if Rusev was to pick up a win here, he would probably have a reason to challenge the winner of the WrestleMania match at Backlash, which, of course, I wouldn't mind if Rusev got a title shot, but I don't see that happening. Rusev looking for the Machka kick. AJ moves and hits his Pele kick. AJ hits the Death Valley driver neck breaker, but Styles looks like he hurt his knee a little bit because, the size of Rusev, that's not going to feel great coming out of that. AJ going for the Styles clash, but Rusev blocks that. He goes for the accolade, but AJ gets out of that and tries to get Rusev into the calf crusher. He does get him in the calf crusher, and Aiden English comes in and causes the DQ when both men start to beat him down to a rain of boos. So they're they're over, but the WWE trying to keep them as heels, which is stupid. Until Nakamura finally, after a while, does come in to make the save, and then that was that. So he does take out Rusev with the Kinshasa, as well as Aiden English with his nice little beauty shot leg kick. We go to break. He walks over and stares at AJ, and he goes out of the ring. Winner by a DQ, of course, was AJ Styles. In the back, we see AJ Styles walking, and he runs into Shinsuke Nakamura.
Hey, Nakamura. I didn't need your help at Fastlane against 5 other guys. I didn't need it tonight either.
It looked like you did. But don't worry. I will help every time until WrestleMania. So then, I'll beat you with the knee to face.
And of course, AJ just looks on as he walks away, a little bit in pain after that beatdown he just took. Nakamura's promo seems to have gotten a lot better as his time on Smackdown has been there. So I do want to credit Nakamura for that. He seems to be working well on his promo. Then we have Big E and Jimmy being interviewed about what happened this past Sunday with the Bludgeon Brothers, where the Bludgeon Brothers pretty much took out everybody but Jimmy Uso and Big E. Big E comes walking in, not looking good.
The Bludgeon Brothers took out 2/3 of the New Day on Sunday. Something never done before, and now they're challenging whoever's left standing from their attack tonight.
Dasha, I wish I could tell you that we proved the Usos wrong and became your 5-time WWE World Tag Team Champions. Dasha, I wish I was here with Kofi and Woods thinking up some way to fill Corey Graves' rental car with pancake batter.
I'll give him that one. That was a good one.
Because of the Bludgeon Brothers. You see, the Bludgeons didn't just take away our championship opportunity, no. They tried to destroy us. You see, Kofi and Woods, they'll be good. They'll be back. Don't you worry. Don't you fret. But as long as I have 2 working legs, as long as I am here standing, I will hold down my brothers. I will represent the New Day.
Biggie with another good promo.
Hey, you won't be standing alone, Oos. You know, they got my brother, too. And right before the Bludgeon Brothers got involved, the Usos and New Day were putting on another classic.
Not this time, really.
And when our boys are all healthy, we'll tear it up again. Don't even trip about that, Oos. We'll put that on pause, but right now, let's go take care of some business. Oos, let's give him that work. Oh, yeah.
And they fist bump and they walk off for their match. So the match at Fastlane really wasn't a classic, in my opinion. It wasn't the best you could have seen. So yeah. So pretty much this match, Biggie. I like serious Biggie. I don't like the joking around, trying to rub things on his crotch and stuff, or gyrate Biggie. When he's serious, Biggie is one of the best promos in WWE outside of, John Cena and the Usos and guys like that. He's actually a pretty good promo when it's serious, like it was before Fastlane, leading up to that match, as it was tonight. Biggie again showing why I want to see him get a championship opportunity for a singles title and have a singles run. It's time to break Big E away from the New Day. Maybe this is starting that. Maybe because Kofi, they really didn't. It didn't really look like Kofi was actually taken out as much as Xavier. Xavier Woods I expected to be gone this week, simply because he was powerbombed on the steel steps and he did his little fidgety thing, looking like he was dead. That I expected. That I definitely expected. Did not expect Kofi to be gone and Jimmy, but I guess Jay. I think Jay was the one who got knocked over the barricade into the crowd, so maybe that's why that was done. But did not really. Big E was the one of all of them that really didn't take much punishment. He was off to the other side, and they pretty much just didn't do much to him. Both of these men come out looking pissed as fuck. These two were in serious mode. No joking, no fun and games, with the serious eyes and everything. Before the match, Jimmy Uso and Big E do come outside when the Bludgeon Brothers put their mallets down, take their jacket and stuff and everything, and they start to brawl. They do end up sending Harper into the barricade, not in the barricade, but into the apron. And they both grab chairs. Big E and Jimmy Uso both grab chairs. Harper and Rowan grab the mallets. Rowan and Harper knock the chairs out of Big E and Jimmy's hands, and they exit the ring as they go to break. They said it took 4 referees to get this match started. 4 referees to get this match started. I can believe that. These two teams, and Big E from the start was on a house of fire for a minute. He was all over Harper in the corner, but Harper hits a black hole slam, which is, of course, that swinging slam that he does. It's a black hole slam. That's his finisher in TNA, or Impact Wrestling. Then Rowan tags in and hits a big splash on Big E, who is being dissected by Rowan. Harper tags in again, and Jimmy eventually gets in soon after that and takes it to Harper. Fast and Furious by Jimmy Uso until he eats a boot from Harper. Big E gets tossed outside and tossed into the steel steps. Splash to Jimmy Uso in the corner, who was just sitting there taking a rest. Then they get the full Nelson powerbomb as their, and they get the win. It looks like that stupid double crucifix bomb. Hopefully they're done using that. The full Nelson into the powerbomb combo is a better looking finisher and more devastating compared to what they were doing. So I'm hoping that's going to be that. Post-match, both Harper and Rowan go out and destroy Big E, and they go back in the ring, just walk past Jimmy Uso as they leave them both laying. So it looks like we might be seeing another triple threat at WrestleMania because, and get used to saying triple threat at WrestleMania because that's all we seem to be getting nowadays. Is triple threats at WrestleMania. We have a triple threat tag team Intercontinental title match. It looks like we're in a triple threat U.S. Championship match, and it looks like we're getting a triple threat tag team match with the New Day versus the Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers. How many triple threats can you get on one show? I know, like WrestleMania, what happened to WrestleMania being the showcase of the Immortals? Yes, I know WrestleMania 2000 was one of the worst WrestleManias of all time because every match on there was a multi-person match minus a cat fight between, I believe, Terry and whoever and the cat. Don't really care. Everything else was fatal four-ways or tag teams or battle royals or whatnot. Don't want to see that this time. We look like we're going to have 2 battle royals. We're going to have 3 triple threat matches, a mixed tag match. The only matches right now that seem to be single matches are the Bar versus Strowman and probably a partner of his choosing. We'll have more on that on Saturday. And the 2 title matches for the Universal and WWE Championship match. Why can't we get a single tag team match for both sides, a single U.S. title match, which Bobby Roode did come out later in the show and say when his rematch is going to be. But of course, Jinder Mahal had to interject. We'll get to that later. We did come back from break, and Sami Zayn was interviewed by Renee Young and asked who was to blame for his failure this past Sunday.
Who do you blame for your failure to win the WWE Championship at Fastlane?
Well, that's a pretty loaded question, isn't it, Renee? Because the obvious answer is Shane McMahon. I mean, I had Kevin Owens pinned, and were it not for him literally pulling me off of the cover, I would be standing here right now as WWE Champion. But the truth is, part of me can't blame Shane McMahon. Really, I blame Kevin Owens. Because if it wasn't for Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon's obsession with Kevin Owens, he wouldn't have even been at ringside. Shane McMahon wouldn't have been there to cost me the match. This obsession with Kevin Owens is ultimately what cost me, okay? I'm guilty by association. And don't get me wrong, look, Kevin Owens has a lot of great qualities. He's a funny guy. He's extremely talented. And truth be told, he's been there outside the ring for years for me. But trust me when I tell you, when it comes to his career, he is nothing short of a self-absorbed egomaniac. But I know him better than anybody. And at Fastlane, I played him perfectly. I played everybody perfectly. And I was milliseconds away from becoming WWE Champion. But again, I paid the price. I paid the price. I was guilty by association. Renee, trust me when I tell you that that is a price I will never, ever pay again. Not for Kevin Owens, not for anybody.
Sounds like we might be getting the old Sami Zayn back, but the plot thickens later in the show, and we will get to that later. So he's blaming Kevin Owens, of course, which of course will prompt Kevin Owens later in the show. We did have Charlotte and Asuka have their first confrontation right at, like, not too long after that. That was the very next thing I believe we had, yes. Charlotte and Asuka meet for the first time. Before Asuka came out, Charlotte says, when you're a champion, there's always a target on your target, and says she is honored to take on Asuka at WrestleMania, and I wanted to be here in the middle of the ring to meet Asuka, woman to woman. Asuka's music hits, Asuka comes out, and these two go face to face.
I guess they say, be careful what you wish for. Thank you! I have traveled around the world defending my title, and people always say 2 things. 1, congratulations, Charlotte, and 2, what would happen if you faced Asuka, who has beat everyone she's ever faced, and the woman who is untouchable? But what would happen if the Queen went one-on-one with the Empress of Tomorrow, who would bow down? And I guess we're going to get that answer to the question at WrestleMania. Iron sharpens iron, and when I sat at Royal Rumble, I watched you win, but I knew as a champion that I didn't get to pick who I was going to face. But I wanted you to pick me. I wanted the opportunity. I wanted the challenge. I wanted to face you. So when your music hit on Sunday, I got goosebumps because I knew it was going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But I've never faced anyone like you. But you have never faced anyone like me. So at WrestleMania, be careful what you wish for. Because I'm going to end your streak and cement my legacy.
I doubt it.
Chose you because I like a challenge.
That right there kind of buries Alexa Bliss. That literally buries Alexa Bliss in the Raw Women's Championship by her coming out and saying, I want a challenge. Staying on Monday Night Raw, I've already beaten everybody. I've beaten Alexa Bliss. She was going to beat Alexa Bliss on Monday, obviously. I've beaten Mickie James. I've beaten Sasha Banks. I've beaten Nia Jax 3 times on Monday Night Raw and a couple times in NXT. I've beaten Bayley twice in NXT and once on Monday Night Raw. Who was there to beat on Monday Night Raw? I'm coming over here to actually have some competition because I've already been through everybody. That's what she's saying right there, and she just buried the entire Raw roster. And it's not their fault, it's the booking, but having Asuka come out and just say, I want a challenge from an actual title fight, because you all know if the Raw Women's Championship match had it been Asuka, would have been a squash match, whether it would be Asuka and Nia Jax, just because Alexa Bliss has been an awful champion. She is the Dean Ambrose or Miz of championships. Probably the Dean Ambrose, because she only defends it every so often, and that's it. When Dean Ambrose was the U.S. champion, the same rules applied. So she came out saying she wants a challenge, pretty much just buried Monday Night Raw's women's division 100%.
To no one. Because no one is ready for Asuka.
And that was the end of their promo, and of course, they're sitting there staring each other down, just smiling at each other. Just smiling. Why does everybody gotta smile nowadays? No pointing at the WrestleMania sign, which I found really interesting. They didn't do that. Then, of course, and this one I have a problem with is the fact that, again, for like the second week in a row, a male competitor, this time Bobby Roode, who was the U.S. champion for 2 weeks in a row, interrupts the stare down or the competition between the women's champion and her challenger. They had Bobby Roode do it last week when he was champion still. They had Randy Orton do it this week when he's champion. So I'm sitting here thinking, are they rushed for time? But yeah, they put a worthless match with Naomi versus Carmella on later in the show, which did absolutely nothing for either of the two. So what was the point of having that match if you're just going to rush through time and you have Randy Orton do this? You should at least had them stare down, you cut the commercial, you come back, and Randy Orton didn't even need an entrance because he wasn't wrestling tonight, which, quite honestly, it's fine, whatever. But Randy Orton came out, and they don't have the clip up, and I don't know if they're putting it up. He came out, talked about, and said, Orton says, I've been called many things in my career. Some good, some not so good. But the one thing I have not been called until now is United States Champion. So about 16 years in his career before he decided to work for the United States Championship, which I found really interesting. Now, winning this title puts me on the short list of Grand Slam champions That's a list I actually care about. Now, before I go any further, there are people on Twitter and other places that are saying, gee, I don't remember Randy Orton winning the European Championship, so how is he a Grand Slam champion? Guys, dumbasses, fucknuts, idiots. The Grand Slam, the original version of the Grand Slam champion was World Champion, World Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental title, Hardcore, or European Champion. When the European title and the Hardcore title were retired, WWE stopped recognizing anybody who did not win a European or Hardcore title before they were retired. So the Grand Slam champion wasn't a recognition yet, even though the U.S. title was introduced in 2002. After WrestleMania 31, which I'm pretty sure was, I don't know who it was that actually won a title to actually do this, but after WrestleMania 31 in 2015, they started recognizing the modern day Grand Slam champion, which is U.S. champion, Intercontinental champion, tag team of Raw or Smackdown, which at the time was just WWE tag titles, and the world title or the universal title. So anybody who's sitting there is like, oh, Randy Orton didn't have the European title, even though it was there when he first started. The European Championship was either retired right before or right after Randy Orton was started. So there was no way he was going to be able to get a classic Grand Slam champion or the original Grand Slam champion. So, yes, it is still a very short list. There has been hundreds, if not, there's been 500-600 people, superstars, to come through the WWE doors since the Grand Slam was introduced, when Shawn Michaels won all four titles, including when he won the European title in 1997? And only 18 people have become Grand Slam champions, and 3 of them have won Modern and Classic with The Big Show, Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Jericho. And yes, anybody who won the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title, one of the tag team titles, whether it was World Tag Team before they retired, WWE tag team titles, or Raw or SmackDown tag team titles, count. Universal title can be in place of the WWE Championship. Just people want to sit. It just blows my mind how people are like, oh, well, he wasn't a Grand Slam champion because he didn't win the Universal title, or he didn't win the European title because that title is retired. They made amends to it, and they made a modern day Grand Slam champion. So anybody who wants to sit there and see that, just know you're dumb, and that's just how it is. Now, as soon as he said that, Bobby Roode's music hit. Oh, it said, I'm sorry. Now Bobby Roode earned my respect at Fastlane, but this title is mine now. The United States title is mine, and I am taking it to WrestleMania, and no one is going to stop me. Bobby Roode's music then hits, which he has a match next against Jinder Mahal. Roode turns around during his entrance, when he does his back thing and everything. He turns around and sees Orton in the ring. He grabs a mic. Congrats, Orton, says, you got me. You see, I get a rematch, and that rematch is going to take place at WrestleMania, which it was funny how, Byron Saxton was like, oh, Bobby Roode's road to WrestleMania was closed at Fastlane. And I'm like, it's more likely that he's going to come out and invoke his rematch clause at WrestleMania, which he did. So just to have him say that makes Byron Saxton sound like a belligerent idiot. And he said when I retain my title, that title, which he should have said when I reclaim my title at WrestleMania, it will be absolutely glorious. Out comes Jinder Mahal, who wants to congrat Ramsey too. Jinder's trying to goad about Roode being a U.S. champion before Randy Orton says he will defeat Roode like he beat him the week before. Why is Jinder Mahal even in this conversation? They pretty much just killed any chance for him even to be in the WrestleMania, being like a relevant star. He should be done out of the WWE. He just does not help anything. The match started and I really didn't care. Match ended with a coloss by Jinder Mahal for the 3 count. So Jinder Mahal has beaten Randy Orton and Bobby Roode back-to-back weeks. So when Daniel Bryan returns, which was announced at the end of the show that Daniel Bryan will return to SmackDown next week. We'll get into that in a minute. That he's going to He's going to say that he should be going for the U.S. title at WrestleMania as well. Daniel Bryan will come out and say, okay, well, we're going to have a triple threat match because Bobby Roode does have a legitimate rematch in his clause, a rematch clause, which I really want to know who was the first person to use the quote-unquote rematch clause in wrestling history, because it just feels like it's something that wasn't there from the start. Post-match, Randy Orton hits an RKO on Jinder Mahal for his troubles. So, yeah, triple threat match, Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode for the U.S. title. Please give us a ladder match, table match, cage match, or something. Do not just make this another basic triple threat match. We have that with the Intercontinental title. Give us something, please. I do not want to see another triple threat because we got one for the Intercontinental title right now, which it looks like we're still going to have. We're going to have this for the U.S. title. We're going to have it for the tag team titles on Smackdown. I want to see some kind of stipulation. Give us a cage match. When was the last time WrestleMania had a non-Hell in a Cell cage match? Has WrestleMania ever had a cage match besides 2 Hell in a Cells at WrestleMania? I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of it if there was one, but it would be cool because during the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, they could put a cage match at WrestleMania. It would be nice to see something different. We haven't seen a cage match at WrestleMania. If we have, it's been forever. So, actually, yeah, I think and I'm going to say this, I think the only time I can think of a WrestleMania cage match was WrestleMania 2. Somebody quote me in the comment section below if you remember a cage match after WrestleMania 2, because I sure as hell cannot. In the back, we see Kevin Owens coming into I believe they were in the Staples Center. I don't know exactly where they were at tonight. But walking in the back, he looked so unhappy, despondent. He was not happy about what happened on Sunday when Renee Young comes up and talks and asks him about what Sami Zayn said earlier in the night.
Excuse me, Kevin. What's your reaction to Sami Zayn claiming that you're the one to blame?
I'm the one to blame. I'm the one to blame for what happened to him on Sunday. Why can't he see that it's all Shane McMahon's fault? Look, if Sami wasn't so selfish right now, he would see that he's not the only one who got screwed over at Fastlane, okay? So that I got screwed over first. Because if Shane McMahon hadn't stuck his nose in my business, I would be the WWE champion right now. And Sami would have never gotten screwed because he would have never gotten close to the title in the first place. And you know what? What about his little stunt? How the little stunt Sami pulled, pretending to lie down like he was going to let me win, and then trying to pull out a cheap victory because he knew he couldn't legitimately get it done on his own. You know what, Renee? I'm so sick of this. I really am. Sami Zayn, you know what he is? Sami Zayn's a liar. He's a manipulator. And now he's blaming me for his own shortcomings. Look, if he wasn't so delusional, he would see that I am the rightful WWE champion. I should be standing here right now with the WWE title, and I'm not. And that's because of Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon is just like all the other McMahons. He can't stand not having the spotlight on him, so he tries to steal it from the people who deserve it, like me. Why? Tell me this. Why do we need Shane McMahon at ringside at Fastlane, huh? Why? We didn't need him there. You know what? If Sami can't see Shane McMahon for what it really is, I have no problem being the one to teach Sami a lesson and being the one to help him open his eyes up to the truth.
And then he just walks off. So, that plays into what happens at the end of the show. So, yeah. These two are teasing tension that these two are going to beat the holy hell out of each other come WrestleMania because, this match needs to happen. Then we get a pointless women's match, which, quite honestly, the only match that really matters in the women's division on both of these brands is Charlotte versus Asuka. So, did Asuka wrestle tonight? No. Did Charlotte wrestle tonight? Not on Smackdown. She did later on during the mixed match challenge against Rusev and Lana, which I don't know why Bobby Roode wrestled on Smackdown when he was going to be in the mixed match challenge. So we had Carmella versus Naomi, another match that I really didn't care about. Carmella wins after Naomi goes for some kind of springboard off of the ropes, but she gets her legs kicked out from underneath of her. Carmella pulls her hair and then pretty much rolls her up and pins her. 1, 2, 3. Carmella wins. Before that match, though, they did show the Fabulous Moolah thing. We went over that in the beginning of the show. And then, of course, Carmella told via Instagram how she's going to win the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, which, again, anybody who goes to that event, please just turn your backs. Don't say anything. Don't show any signs. Just turn your backs and don't watch the match. It will show that will be a clear message to Vince McMahon that this was wrong to even do. You want to bring praise to a disrespectful woman, then why would I want to watch that match? Then we had the end of the show, which was Shane McMahon talking about his WrestleMania announcements and the carnage that came out of it.
Now, I've had numerous conversations, including one today, with SmackDown's general manager, Daniel Bryan, who I'm pleased to say will be returning to SmackDown Live next week.
The reason people were probably booing is because I think he misspoke. I think he said wouldn't, and it sounds like he said wouldn't return, but he meant to say would return. Let's back that up for a second.
Bryan, who I'm pleased to say will be returning to SmackDown Live next week.
Yeah, he said won't be returning, even though he should have said would be returning. It sounds like he said won't. So the reaction he gets is boos and jeers, and he's like, huh? What? Huh? No yes? No yes? That's good. That's good. Like, he said he misspoke.
I also told Daniel that he's going to be going in alone, because effective immediately after tonight's show, I'm taking an indefinite leave of absence as SmackDown Live's commissioner. But before I do, I'm here to make one specific and special matchup. And based on leading up to and what I saw at Fastlane, based on the commentary I heard tonight from these two individuals, it will be Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. You know what, Shane? You are just doing this because it made you so happy to hear these people cheering like crazy because Kevin Owens and I were beating the hell out of each other at Fastlane. Well, you know what? If you're going to base all your decisions on what these people think, then thank God you are leaving. You guys still baffle me. I just gave you the opportunity to face each other, which many people don't get, on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Shane. And we think you'll appreciate this, too.
And Zayn attacks Shane from behind, and these two beat the holy hell out of him. Turn that down a little bit. Yeah, these two beat the hell out of Shane. Shane comes back and fights a little bit. Shane has some of the worst punches in the game. Shane McMahon has the worst punches in all of professional wrestling, period. I know he's not a trained professional wrestler. He does what he can, but the dude should actually work on his punches so they look more legitimate. He looks like he's just punching air all the time. I mean, yes, you pull punches in wrestling. You don't actually like connect as hard as you would if you were really fighting. But you gotta make him look more real than this because, dude, there's people out there who want to say wrestling's fake, which it's not. Go out there and try it for yourself and then tell me it's fake. But Shane McMahon's punches do not help that argument that it's not fake. Pulls Kevin up. Kevin Owens pulls him off of Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn comes over. He has him in a headlock, and they start pounding on him.
What they were doing all along. They say came out here saying, Zayn tried to do the right thing. Tried to give these two an opportunity. And this is what he gets?
Has Shane McMahon held up, and Sami Zayn hits a haluva kick.
Sammy and Kevin have just forgotten about how Shane's mistreated them for months and months and months, about his personal vendetta.
Yeah, as always, it's all about Sammy and Kevin. Look, Sammy and Kevin won.
If it weren't for Shane McMahon, either Sammy or Kevin.
Come on!
Sammy throws him into Kevin Owens for a pop-up powerbomb.
Champion right now.
And then some referees come in and they decide to beat down on the referees.
What's insane on stopping? No limits to what these two of us have. Give it an all. Come on.
Kevin are crossing a line. Put their
Kevin Owens just pushes Shane out of the ring. Sami Zayn grabs a chair. Sami Zayn opens the chair. They stuff Shane McMahon's head into the chair. And they just run Shane's neck in the chair into the ring post. And he thought, oh, they would be done there. Nope, they both just grab Shane and they drag him along.
one more thing before you go.
And get him all the way to the back. They pick him up. And there's this stack of rollers with a steel something on it, and they powerbomb him onto this steel coupling thing, or whatever this is here, and he's just writhing in pain. That was how SmackDown Live ended, with those two pretty much brutalizing Shane McMahon and writing him off of TV for hopefully more than just a week. Yeah, so anybody who put out there that it's going to be Dolph Ziggler versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, that is what we call a red herring, ladies and gentlemen. That was never going to be happening. The conclusion to Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will in fact happen at WrestleMania. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, what Daniel Bryan is going to have in store for these two next week. Maybe they'll be suspended for a week. I don't know, but I don't know if Vince might even show up on SmackDown next week and make the match. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Shane McMahon and somebody, because I don't think it's going to be Daniel Bryan. That would have been pretty much started even more a while ago. So they did this to write Shane McMahon off of TV. Maybe Shane McMahon has some personal things, like maybe family things or something going on in the next week or two that he's not going to be able to be there. Maybe business things that he can't be at SmackDown next week, but we will definitely see Shane McMahon versus these two in some kind of capacity. It might be a tag match, it might be a triple threat, which I don't want to see. I really wouldn't want to see another triple threat match, as we already have at least 3 of them. So maybe we'll see a tag match. I don't know. We will have to see what happens next week. So they really gave you a reason to watch SmackDown. Daniel Bryan's coming back next week. He's been gone. I mean, there was a family wedding last weekend. That's why he wasn't there on Sunday. What are they going to do and how are they going to further the storyline? I do not know. We will have to just wait until next week. But that is your SmackDown Live review. What is coming out of this show that we are going to see at WrestleMania? Well, we're not going to see Dolph Ziggler, who was not on this show, mind you. We are not going to see Dolph Ziggler versus Shane McMahon. We are going to probably see a triple threat tag team match for the tag team titles, unless they want to throw Rusev Day in there, because Rusev still has nothing to do at WrestleMania. Can we get a ladder match? Can we get a cage match? I would love to see a cage match at WrestleMania. It's been so long. If it's been WrestleMania 2, that's so long. If there's been one after that, besides a Hell in a Cell, because there was one a couple years ago, and of course, you know, the terrible one at WrestleMania 15. Give me something to want to see at WrestleMania that's not just triple threat match, triple threat match, triple threat match, because that's going to get boring. If majority of your matches are Battle Royal, triple threat, Battle Royal, triple threat, tag team, one-on-one, that's a boring WrestleMania until we get to the women's title matches and then the men's title matches. So far, coming out of this past week, these last 2 episodes of SmackDown and Raw, we have a one-on-one singles match for both the men's and women's titles. We're going to have a handicap match at this time for the tag team titles on Raw, a triple threat match for the tag team titles on SmackDown, triple threats for both mid-card titles on both shows, and a mixed tag match for Ronda Rousey, who will have news on why she wasn't at Raw and what WWE did to try and appease the fans on Unscripted this Saturday. So that is going to be all for this episode of Smackdown Live's review. I will be back here tomorrow for our NXT review, the final tapings, what should be the final episode from Studio Center Stage in Atlanta before we get back to Full Sail next week. And then, of course, Unscripted on Saturday and back again next week for Raw. Until then, my name is The France. Find me on Twitter at The France and find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Until then, have a good afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you later.